Welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday, the weekly broadcast where I talk to you about writing and books, whether you want me to or not. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the fact that The Second 100 Kisses is live. That means you can buy it now. You could buy it in ebook and in paperback. Both are available now. Some authors choose to do a paperback a little bit later. I try to make paperbacks available for release day because I know some people just really prefer a paperback method. So it is an extra step, and it is kind of annoying how Amazon sort of sets up the paperback release. Trying to time that the right way is not easy. It's not it's not as easy as it should be. So I've ordered my paperback copies of that book, which I won't get for at least a few weeks. If you order a paperback, you'll get it in a couple of days. But the author, we're chumps, I guess. So we don't get our books until much later. So whatever, I will deal. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about ways that readers can really help creative types, whether that's authors, whether that's filmmakers, whether that's artists, whatever, creative type people's, how you can sort of ensure that you get more of what you love, right? So we all have those series or books or whatever that we consume and we go, oh, I want more. We binge it and we crave it and we want more. And how do you sort of ensure that you get more from the content creator, whether that's the writer, the studio, whatever? Well, there's a few things that you can do to sort of help push that momentum along, because at the end of the day, you as the consumer hold pretty much all the cards. So you're really the ones in control of navigating how things work, whether you know it or not. I mean, just look at the Snyder Cut. That never would have gotten made if fans didn't demand it, right? The fifth season of Lucifer never would have been made if fans didn't want it. So you hold a lot of power, whether you know that or not, you do. Those in charge are paying attention to sort of what the buzz is. So one of the things that you can do is, if you've liked something, whether that's a book, whether that's a piece of art, whether that's a series, say that you liked it or loved it or can't get enough of it. Make that a public statement, whether that's just to your friends, whether that's on social media, wherever it is. Even if you find a way to contact the person who is directly responsible. So if it's like a book, finding a way to contact the author directly and letting them know that their work was important and it was valued. That serves sort of two purposes. One, yeah, it sort of strokes the author's ego a little bit, but let's be honest, writing is a very vulnerable thing, and we never know if we're doing it right. We always are second guessing ourselves. We are our own worst we're the devil. We can't get out of our own way sometimes. So having that assurance that we hit the mark that we wanted to hit might just be the thing that motivates that creator to keep going. I know for me personally, that's happened a few times in my career where I got really low, something didn't perform the way it did or whatever, and you just go, well, maybe it's time to bow out gracefully and say, I tried, but it just didn't happen. And on every single occasion that I've reached that low point, someone has reached out to me as a reader to let me know that they've read something that I've written and thanks me, or something to remind me of why I'm doing this, that little shove. So you never know if your comment or your post is getting seen by the author, and it might just be the thing that keeps them creating. So if you liked something, say you like it so that they know and they can keep going. You're giving them the momentum to keep going. Okay. In terms of books, if you like, if you're working with books, like it or not, reviews matter. They just do. It's an unfortunate thing, but they matter. I mean, think about it. When you go to purchase something online, the first thing you look at is probably the price. And then the second thing you look at is how many stars does it have? What are people saying about this product? If there's a lot of positive stars, you'll click and you'll find some more information about that product. You're more inclined to purchase if the reviews are good. If there are only a small handful of reviews, you're less inclined to sort of think that that's a trustworthy thing. So as awful as reviews are, as much as people hate doing them, they really are important, and they do not have to be anything complicated. They do not need to be a book report. They literally can be, I loved this book. It literally can be that. It does not have to be anything complicated. So if you read a book and you loved it, rate it or review it, because now Amazon will even just let you give it a star review. You don't have to give words if you don't want to. You can just give a star rating. Do that. It is so important for the algorithms and how much they get seen. It is so important. If you love a book, let them know in the reviews so that their stuff gets lifted up. Otherwise, it can disappear and never generate enough for the content to keep coming. So that's sort of a small way that you can contribute to that. Another way that you can contribute is that sort of word of mouth. If you don't feel comfortable posting on social media that you like this book, tell a friend that you know who loves to read that, hey, this book is really great. Because when someone tells you, a friend of yours tells you, you really need to read this book, it's awesome, you are more inclined to read that book because you trust the person who is telling you to read it. So there is a trust and relationship with a word of mouth recommendation. So that word of mouth is so huge for any sort of content. Like, even if it's a show, like, oh, this show, you've got to watch it, it's amazing. So the more eyes that get on it, the more it's lifted up, and the more people who have the authority to make these decisions see that this is important content. So those are very important things. And sort of the last piece, which may seem completely obvious, but you can buy their work or support their work in a financial way. It seems like a no-brainer, but especially in the book world, book piracy is such a huge thing that if you really love a series, you want it now and you want it for free, but then the author doesn't get compensation. And if the author doesn't get compensation, they can't afford the editing fees. They can't afford the cover fees. They can't afford the formatters. They can't afford to market the next book because they didn't make enough money on that one because things were pirated. So if you want more content from authors, you have to legitimately buy their work, or else you price them out and they cannot get a return on an investment. And if they can't get a return on the investment, they won't produce more content. So if you want more from an author or a creator, those are the things that you can do. Let people know that you're watching it, or you're binging it, or you're loving it. You can review their work or rate their work wherever you can. Tell a friend, that word of mouth. Make sure that they know that this is something you need to read. And then, of course, financially support them so that it costs money to produce a book. And that might be something that people don't realize. It costs a good chunk of money to put out a book. And so authors are really relying on those book sales in order to push the next thing. So it's important. And most books cost way under $10. None of my books are over $5 for ebooks. So, I mean, it's a pretty cheap investment for something that an author has spent 6 months to a year of their lives working on. So it's, and here's the other thing. If you really are in sort of that financial place where you literally cannot afford to do that, then get the book from your library, because libraries pay for copies. So the author is getting compensated from the library. If they don't have it at your library, ask them to get it. That's what libraries do. So you can still get that content if you need it for free, but then the author is still getting their compensation. That's the way to go. Okay, that's the way to go. Okay, enough of my yammering. I just wanted to also let you know before I wrap up that I'm going to be giving away a bookworm box of goodies that has my young adult novel, What Moons Do, in it. It was their featured book for the January subscription box. You can't get this. You cannot buy this. It is sold out. You cannot get this anywhere else. If you didn't nab it in January, you can't get it. But I have a box that I'm giving away. I'm going to put information in the information about my newsletter, because I'm going to do that this month. I'm going to start the giveaway for that. So if you want to get into to be in the winnings for this, join my newsletter and you'll find out how you can get in to win that. Okay, that is enough for me. I will see you next Tuesday when we'll talk about something else. All right, bye all.